अंजनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातम् सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं स्वावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Shashwin, for the Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept our Dandavat Pranam and our humble obeisances from everybody in this group. I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of Kamal Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for leading us to Antaranga Das Prabhuji. Just a brief introduction to Prabhuji since he's joined our group for the first time. As devotees are joining in, we are from ISKCON Eldoret, Prabhuji, and I sent you a long history of what we are, so I don't want to waste our time in telling who we are, but I'll introduce you to the devotees. Prabhuji has done a degree in psychology in Slovakia, and he was attracted to the mission through Prabhupada's books. So as we distribute our books, we have a live example here among us who has joined the movement while reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada joined the manor as a monk in 2015, Prabhuji, and he now does various courses. He is very good for us people who are just trying to be aspiring devotees, but not only people like us, but he also lectures to other devotees who are there at the manor. So without much ado, Prabhuji, I'd like to hand over to you. Prabhuji, we are reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on chapter 11 and the text for today is text 20. Prabhuji, I'll hand over to you. And this session is being recorded. And if we get disconnected, kindly join in again. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we can't, yes, we can now hear you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here and inviting me. I'm very happy to be in your online association. Thank you for the introduction. I have one small request. Let's say when the time of the disconnection of the video will come, let's say 10 minutes before, if you can kind of let me know.
I'll say 10 minutes. Yeah.
You
And then 1 minute.
you can unmute yourself and just let me know.
Okay.
I will be aiming for finishing that in 45 minutes because it's another long purport. Nor I bet it was many things been already said in the in this regard. Okay, let me just find the verse. Okay, text 20. So I'm going to recite the Sanskrit and translation, and there's very short purport to it. Divya Divya pritur idam antaram hi vyaptam tyakshena dishascha sarva drishtvad bhutam rupam ugram tavedam lokatrayam pravyatita mahatman. Translation. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Purport. Divya aprityoha, the space between heaven and earth, and loka trayam, the three worlds, are significant words in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with the divine vision saw the universal form on the battlefield. Hare Krishna. So we can see in this verse, in the Prabhupada's purport, how Prabhupada is actually emphasizing that through the request and through the mission of Arjuna, if you look at the greater scale, if you look at the greater scale of the Bhagavad Gita, the whole momentum, how actually this universal form was manifested, we can see in the second chapter, in the chapter 2, how Arjuna, due to being perturbed and somehow disconnected with his dharmic duties as a kshatriya, as a warrior, he kind of understood his position, he understood the situation. And then in 2.7, there was a major shift. This major shift happened due to actually some discomfort in the life of Arjuna. He overseen that all his enemies being his family members, his cousins, uncles, friends, teachers. And this actually creates a lot of disturbance within the life of Arjuna. So in this connection, again, Arjuna said, Karpanya dosapata swabhaha parchamitvam dharma sambuddha chetaha yachirasya nishchitam bruhitame, and they're important by shishyasteham sadi mantvam prapanam. So in the 2.7, Arjuna kind of changed he shifted completely the relationship between Krishna and himself, between Krishna and Arjuna. That shiftment was for our benefit. That change of relationship was for our benefit. And here we can actually see in the chapter 11 how Arjuna, for our benefit, the whole 11th chapter shows the purpose of establishing the supremacy of Lord Krishna. So in this way, Arjuna requested the Supreme Lord, please show us or show me your universal form. You already said to me in the previous chapters that everything emanates from you. You are the source of everything. You are the master of all that be. All the yagyas, all the ceremonies, all the rituals, and all the process are leading to you. One of the acharyas, either Baladev Vidyabhushan or Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur, is translating term jnana. In general term, whenever someone asks you what does a gyan means, we answer it as a knowledge. But one of the acharyas are explaining that jnana actually means that by which something is to be known. So that by which something or some object or some person is to be known. So basically, gyan, another translation for gyan is the path of observing and understanding the knowledge about the object. So in this connection, you can read throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita how Prabhupada is actually translating different terms as bhakti, as devotion. He's translating karma yoga as bhakti. He's translating buddhi yoga as bhakti. He's translating jnana yoga as bhakti. So Prabhupada is translating everything in connection with the conclusion of the revealed scriptures in this connection of the Bhagavad Gita. So when Arjuna requested Krishna, please show me your universal form, this should be always be understood. It was not disconnected from the path of bhakti. Even when the vision of Arjuna, so-called, quote unquote, was degraded, because we understand the Shyama Sundar, the Shyama Sundar form of the Supreme Lord is the supreme form which we all try to kind of focus on. And the reason why Arjuna requested Krishna to show this form is actually for benefit of everyone. In this verse, we can see how actually this benefit or this desire of a pure devotee like Arjuna actually spread throughout the whole universe. So it was not only Arjuna who actually saw the universal form, but here Prabhupada confirms that there were also other personalities who had the vision of the Supreme Lord in his universal form. So Prabhupada says, just to repeat, Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. So for practicing devotees, we can see that we also make some mistakes, right? We are also many times perturbed or disturbed within our life. But many times the result of our disturbance is, let's say, it's not always spiritual. It's not always something which results in spiritual activity. Our disturbance many times results in something which is unwanted, unnecessary, and as I mentioned, it creates disturbance within the society and within us as well. But disturbance of a pure devotee results in actually only in devotional activity. We can see that how disturbance of Maharaj Parikshit resulted in Srimad Bhagavatam being spoken. We can see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita how the disturbance of Arjuna resulted in Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So this quote unquote disturbance of pure devotees, the result is always beneficial for us. So the disturbance of Arjuna through the Bhagavad Gita resulted that not only him was received the blessing to actually perceive not only Krishna but also his universal form. The result was that blessing, that boon of presentation of the Vishwarup was kind of distributed over the whole universe. And then Prabhupada says, all whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw the universal form on the battlefield. So great devotees are acting in a certain roles, and these roles are always resulting in the benefit of all the living entities. So Arjuna took a position of a disturbed personality. He took a position of a person who's not ready to perform his duty, someone who's not ready to kind of kill on the battlefield, someone who's out of compassion saying that he doesn't want to fight, out of compassion, which was very much connected to the bodily consciousness, right? Compassion in the life of a devotee is a very important aspect in our lives. But what Arjuna did, his compassion was focused rather on the internal, on the spiritual aspect of the self. His compassion was focused on the material form, right? What if, and he was giving many logical arguments to Krishna why he shouldn't fight. He was following in the footsteps of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj was also in the mood of not to fight. He was also in the mood of there needs to be some kind of a diplomacy. There needs to be some kind of a reasoning. There needs to be some kind of a way to avoid the fighting of the Kurukshetra war. Because these personalities, they understood something like activity and the result of the activity. So in our lives, we also try to develop this mood of understanding the sequences in material nature, sequence in material nature and sequence in spiritual life. So Arjuna, in the Vishwarup section, he understood the sequence of the activities of the Supreme Lord. He requested, please, my Lord, reveal to me your supreme form, your universal form, your Vishwarup. And the reason was there was the initial activity, the initial request, and the result of that request will be establishing Lord Krishna as the Swayam Bhagavan. So later on, we will read how Prabhupada is establishing that there are certain reasons or certain nimittas or certain lakshanas. Lakshana means like you need to have certain signs on your body, a certain signs that who is the Supreme Lord and who is not the Supreme Lord. So Lakshana of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is that he's always endowed with beauty. He's obviously he's Bhagavan. He's got all the 6 features. There are certain marks on his foot. There are certain marks on his hands. There are certain way he presents himself. There's certain supernatural activities which he performs. And also, if someone says, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am Bhagavan, you can also and always request him to show you his universal form. That's the activity and that's the result. The activity was, my Supreme Lord, please reveal your universal form. And the reason of that behind it was so he can establish Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the future, this was spoken 5,000 years ago, in the future, whoever comes and says, I am the avatar, I am like this, I'm like that, you have full right to say, okay, prove it. Prove me your lakshanas on your body and prove where you are mentioned in the scriptures. Obviously, we understand the Vedas are, the function of the Vedas is also to present the future. And whichever avatar descends, he's always very carefully noted. So if someone says, I am avatar, then prove it. And this universal form was a check from the side of Arjuna to show that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is really a God. Therefore, no imposter in the future can make this kind of a claim that, yes, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this was the reason why Arjuna kind of degraded his vision, right? The supreme vision is to have 5 principal rasas or 5 principal relationships with the Lord. And one of those relationships is the one that Arjuna had with Krishna, which was relationship of friendship. So he kind of degraded his vision for the benefit of others. And in this verse specifically, we can see how this benefit was actually distributed for everyone. That all the other demigods and all the other personalities throughout the cosmos would actually very firmly see and establish that yes, this Vasudev Krishna is actually God himself. Um, it's interesting because this divine vision, it's one of the translation is Divya Chakshush. And the question may be raised, how can one kind of receive this Divya Chakshush? How can one also be benefited by this divine vision? And the answer is actually very simple: association. Association in the sense that if one associates with spiritual master via instructions, if one associates with the holy name, if one associates with the scriptures, if one associates with the Vaishnavas, if one associates with the path of bhakti, then what happens? This spiritual divine vision will naturally take place. Just like Prabhupada used the analogy that when you took a piece of metal and throw it in a fire, that piece of metal will receive all the attributes of the fire. It will be emanating heat, it will be emanating light, and it will be also, if you touch some other object to it, it will catch as fire again. Therefore, to receive this divine chakshush, this divine vision, is all based on association. And Bhagavad Gita is non-different from the Supreme Lord as well. Therefore, if one associates with the Bhagavad Gita, like all of you are doing, if you read Bhagavad Gita, if you churn Bhagavad Gita, if you discuss Bhagavad Gita, if you actually not only read Bhagavad Gita, but understand the conclusions of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, are there any questions so far?
Sorry, Prabhuji, no, there are no questions. Somebody just joined in, unmuted. Sorry, Prabhuji,
Okay.
continue.
If anyone has any questions, maybe we can even open up. If there are any points anyone would like to share, please do so.
Hare Krishna, Antaranga Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful explanation so far of this verse. I thought it was a really nice point that you made, that when a pure devotee like Arjun, Parikshit Maharaj, when they receive disturbance, all devotees benefit. All living entities benefit. And then you briefly mentioned that we also, I can't speak for the amazing devotees here on the class, but definitely for myself, definitely a long way from being a devotee, what to speak pure devotee. But we do all face disturbances in our life. And often, I'll be honest, often in my life, if I find a disturbance, it takes me away from Krishna rather than towards Krishna, and definitely doesn't benefit others either. So my question is, how can we use disturbances in our lives? And often something bad may happen, job situation. The whole COVID is a horrible situation at the moment, and it causes a mental disturbance. How can we use that to advance and benefit our Krishna consciousness? How can we deal with it in the right way?
Thank you very much. I think that's a very important question, very much relevant for all of us. You see, these disturbances are there for a reason. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adidevika. These disturbances are for our benefit, and they're just showing us that this material world is truly not a place for us. They're not a place for a gentleman, and they're not a place for us to reside. They are always like a subtle, and not always even subtle, they are quite gross reminders of what is actually our natural constitution. From literally from psychological point of view, from psychological observation, it means that you are striving for happiness. You are striving for something which is literally beyond this reach of this material world. And that means that is your natural heritage. That's your natural constitution, because you are striving for something which cannot be contained within this material world. You're striving for happiness, which that on its own is showing that this material world is not a place to be happy. It's the creation of the universe is in such a way that there will naturally always be disturbances. Therefore, you are literally striving for something out of the bubble of the material world. And that in itself is indication for us that this is not our constitutional position. This is not place for us to be. Therefore, we can perceive these disturbances rather as an indication or a reminder that we are not here. We should not be here. This is not our home. This is not our place. Therefore, Krishna is giving us these reminders through the agents of our karma. As I mentioned, through the platform of disturbance from the mind, other living entities, and the natural causes. So, pure devotees are actually not disturbed as such. The reason is they're like perfect drama players. They play their role in a perfect way. The term which is used is uttama. These people are uttama adhikaris. Uttama means beyond the darkness, which indicates that whatever sort of disturbances are coming their way, they're just there for a reason to teach others how to sort them out. Prabhupada was a grihasta. He was going through many disturbances with his family, with his split of his dedication to his guru and to his kind of a family members. Prabhupada went through many different disturbances throughout his whole life with printing his books, traveling around the planet, establishing the movement, and so on. And through his so-called disturbances, he was teaching us how to sort our disturbances. So when disturbances come, try to rather emotionally attach yourself to that disturbance, kind of do a step back and kind of just reason why I'm so disturbed by this, why I'm so unhappy by this, what Krishna tries to teach me, what is that, and churn it. Ask yourself questions and go to the root of that disturbance. Like recently, yesterday was Ekadashi, Bhima Pandava Ekadashi, and some of our devotees, we've been fasting for like 3-4 days. And what happened after in this period, I recommend it to devotees to try it out, because what happens is that when you don't have that so much energy to kind of invest into all these disturbances, you become much more shanty. You become just like, it's okay, like you did your best, it's fine. Or some disturbance comes, you can't invest, you don't have that energy to fully, grasp that situation. So you just like, okay, uh, do your best, or I will try to fix it. And you're in a much more shanty way. So disturbances also invoke energy investments. So what devotees are doing is that their energy investment is not based on emotions, but rather on the base of intelligence. So we all know in the Bhagavad Gita is mentioned that there are certain stages. First is the stage of the soul, then there's the stage of the intelligence, the stage of the mind, and the stage of the senses. Within the mind, there's thinking, feeling, and willing, basically emotions. So one of the important parts for us is to elevate our consciousness from the stage of thinking on the platform of the mind to the thinking on the platform of intelligence. And this is very, very difficult task to perform because it requires kind of a contemplation, step back, and withdrawing yourself. So that's one of the ways that we can deal with our stress rather than straight away investment of the energy and emotional kind of a grabbing the situation with emotions, kind of rather step back and maybe read a quote from the Bhagavad Gita, uh, consult a senior Vaishnava, think what Krishna wants to show you in this path. And in this way, you will be great person, and in a great way, you become dhira. You become undisturbed. Dhira and shanti. Dhira shanti. Peaceful and undisturbed by dealing with problems based on the level of intelligence. Thank you for the question. Very, very nice one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we have 9 minutes left.
Okay.
But we'll join in. This is just to remind you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Any other points?
Prabhuji, if I may ask a question. So who else saw the universal form? Because it mentions over here, I thought on Kurukshetra, no one saw except Arjuna. But who else? Do we know them?
Prabhupada says, all whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form. So I don't want to speculate on this conclusion, but I can share my reflection. Most likely the demigods, those which are in the heavenly regions. Then there was Sanjaya. He had the darshan when he was presenting it to Dhritarashtra. And all of those which the Lord give them blessings to receive. And who was that particularly? I don't know.
Okay.
So some of the great personalities definitely received that darshan.
Prabhuji, also Vyasdev ji must have seen him.
Yes. Yeah, Vyasadeva, no doubt. He was the one who gave the blessings to Sanjaya. Therefore, if someone gives blessings, that means that he has the potency. Therefore, no doubt, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Because Bhagavad Gita as such is part of Mahabharata, right? Mahabharata has, I don't know how many verses, 200,000? I don't know. Again, don't want to speculate. And the portion of the Mahabharata Bhagavad Gita, which is 700 verses. Therefore, definitely Vyasadeva saw the universal form.
Are there any other questions? Prabhuji, I think there are no more questions or comments. We can continue.
Okay, basically the point was made that through the disturbance of a Vaishnava, actually great benefit always comes. And sometimes the Lord utilizes the life of a devotee in such a way, such an unimaginable way. So we should always remember whenever we are going through difficulties and challenging times, it's not only that the Lord wants to push us more away from Him, but rather He's giving us opportunity to come closer to Him and reminds us that this place is not for us. And through us embracing the path of bhakti, others will benefit as well. Therefore, if you are a devotee, you're doing great service to the whole world, to the whole country, to everyone. Because when you put yourself on the path of bhakti, you're carrying the Lord within you. Your body becomes dham, which means a sacred place. Because you're chanting, you're associating, you're taking prasadam, you're doing all the angas, all the limbs of devotion. You purifying yourself to such a degree that you will be working as a via medium for spread Krishna consciousness. Therefore, please keep on doing what you're doing. It's very encouraging. It's very nice, and this is the way that Prabhupada was kind of encouraging us to go. Become purified and then share Krishna consciousness nicely. Any other points? Any questions?
Hare Krishna, kindly unmute yourself and ask or make comments. Prabhuji, usually this group is very interactive and they talk a lot, but today I think they've understood whatever you have said and they are probably in awe. It was an excellent lecture, Prabhuji. I'll hand over to Path Prabhuji, who is our mentor in Eldoret. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Madan Gopal Prabhuji, who is one of our mentors, and even Govinda Das Prabhuji, who is also joined us today. Hare Krishna. Path Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
take
Hare
over.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. And you explain how Krishna is all everywhere, and Arjuna just see this one and admire that one, also praise this one. We are so grateful, Prabhu, for your precious time and giving your association on this group. On behalf of all the devotees assembling here, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of the grace, Antaranga Das Prabhuji. We are so grateful, Prabhu, for your association. Please join. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Hare. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai,
His Grace Antaranga Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Bol.
Haribol. Haribol Prabhuji, there was a question from Ullas Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Ullas Bhatt,
Hello.
Prabhuji, kindly. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you very much. I was just tuning just now. I enjoyed, but the link was given from my friend Hitesh, so I'll be watching, but just it was abruptly I saw it today. I used to come there in the opening ceremony in Deldoret. I'm in Kitale. Thank you.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Please keep
Yeah,
on.
your vehicle. Yeah, we shall watch your vehicle comes with breakfast. Tell them to continue to come on 7th, mostly every month of 7th. They used to come in our kitchas, but I don't see them. We used to buy and support.
Now you can come,
So,
Prabhu,
when-
at the center. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You
Yeah,
can come.
every 7th they can come. The driver knows that place of our staying residence. So I don't see them. They came 4 months before only, once. Okay.
It is better you can
Hare
come.
Krishna.
It is better,
Yeah.
Prabhu, you can come to the center so that I can recognize you. Maybe driver are not able to recognize you.
Yeah,
So it is better
yeah.
interaction.
I talked to him when he came. I told, when you come here, 7th, 8th people have salary, you should come every month regularly. But he came 4 months before. So I don't see him these days, but it's fine. So we shall keep
Okay.
watching when I get the links. Yeah. So I
Very
am
good.
friend of Hitesh. Even I came in the opening ceremony in Eldoret when it was inaugurated.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, thank
Prabhuji.
you.
The link
Jai
is the
Prabhupada.
same every day, 8 o'clock
Yeah.
in the evening, and it's the same link, Prabhuji. So please kindly join every day.
Okay. I will join. Okay. Thank you. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. You are
Thank
welcome. Okay. Bye.
All right.
Ajay Prabhuji, did you have a question? I saw your mic muted, unmuted.
No,
Okay, Prabhuji.
oh, sorry, my computer is going crazy. No, Mataji, I haven't got a question. Well, there was not a question related to the lecture given by Prabhuji, but I wanted to know whether you were you were based in Eldoret or whether you were based in here in UK. I'm not sure.
Prabhuji, I'm locked down in the UK. My heart is in Eldoret. I work in Eldoret. Currently, I'm working from home here in the UK, but working in Kenya for the School of Medicine, Moore University.
Also, you're based in
Eldoret.
UK. Oh, you're
Right now, I'm in UK, but I work in Eldoret.
okay. So you're temporary here in UK only.
Yes, since a year now. This temporary has become a year.
Okay.
My
And where
family-
is this recording stored? I see you're recording these programs.
I put it on the YouTube. Prabhuji, I'll send the YouTube link to you,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
to Antaranga Prabhuji and to Kamal Prabhuji, just so that you know our activities. Antaranga Prabhuji, do you have any question for us? Please bless us. We are a very new center. We've just started, and please bless us so that we can continue with our activities. Partha Prema does the Food for Life activities and lots of activities that other temples, ISKCON temples are doing. So Prabhuji is our mentor, Path Prabhuji, and Mansi Ganga Mataji as well. She's just had a cataract operation today, so she hasn't been able to join in. But these two are our pillars and they guide us.
All the blessings are always there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All glories to your service, and Prabhupada will be very happy, and Prabhupada is very happy with your wonderful service. So all glories to you. It was my
Hare
privilege to have your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your association.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.